because my students don't always remain quiet, unfortunately. So, except for Kristen, of course. And probably some of your other children out there. I probably have some other children. I know one of your daughters is at my house currently watching my children. So, all right. I brought two things for you. I guess I'm back on.
Yes.
First of all, I brought two handouts for you, so you'll find both of those there. One is a white sheet of paper, and it just goes over the brief notes of what I'm trying to say tonight. I tried to put it into bullet form so that, I had some talking points that I might be able to hit tonight, and you would be able to kind of follow along or whatnot. Sorry, the teacher in me always. And then on the purple sheet is the story of how we found out about our children having cystic fibrosis and really what life is like for us with cystic fibrosis and dealing with that in the household. So I kind of brought you those two so that you would have something to take with you and whatnot. Up here, as the slideshow is going on, these are my pictures of my children. My husband got it together for us. So as I introduce myself, I am a member of your community. Nearly 13 years ago, 20 days after my husband and I were married, we signed the mortgage papers for our home. And everyone thought we were a little bit crazy because we bought a big house, 3,300 square foot home here in Yorba Linda, and it was just the two of us at the time. But over the years, we've successfully filled that home. We have 5 small children. Our oldest is Michael. He's in the striped shirt here. He's 8 and a half. And then I have a set of twins that are 7. They just turned 7 in January. Brooke is one of the twins, and then she has a twin brother, Brian. And then I have a second set of twins. Oh. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, the odds are not really high for that to happen. So we have a second set of twins who are 5 and a half. So I had all 5 kids in 3 years. I went from 0 to 5 in 3 years. So yeah, it was a busy time. It's still a busy time. But we have been very, very blessed living here in Yorba Linda. Shortly after we bought the house, before I had any children, I applied to teach here at the Placentia Yorba Linda Unified School District, and I have been teaching at Esperanza now going on 11 years, so I've probably had several of your children over the years. My husband has also been teaching here in the district as a substitute teacher, and so he also knows many of your children. But this last year, my husband has made a commitment to stay home with our children. Our oldest 3 do attend Fairmont Elementary, but our younger 2, Gavin and Grace, are 5 and a half, and we did help hold them this year so they wouldn't start kindergarten. But they were attending Discovery Depot, which is a fabulous school to be and very much enjoyed. But Gavin is very susceptible to picking up the illnesses. And for our kids to catch a cold, like Brooke, it can go from a cold to pneumonia to hospitalization very quickly. And so to try and cut down on the possibility of our youngest bringing home even more germs, we just felt that it was time for my husband to maybe just take the position of staying home, being a stay-at-home dad. And so he has taken that role on and has done a marvelous job with the kids.
He's totally
helping to take care of our house and make some changes that needed to be changed to help to better our children's lives because of the cystic fibrosis. Rob has also been meeting with 7 of our schools in our district, so some of you may have had flyers come home from various schools. Our district has been fabulous with supporting us this year. BJ's Pizza is running a program, it's called Coins for a Cure, and the schools that raise $1,000, BJ's matches that and contributes $2,000 to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation to help raise money for a cure. And then BJ's also returns $1,000 to the school. So the school is able to raise money for ASB programs as well for that. So it's kind of a win-win situation for the schools, and we've had 7 schools in our district agree to the fundraiser program. We are very, very blessed to be living here in Yorba Linda. We do feel like it is the land of gracious living. I also want to tell you a little bit here tonight about what CF is. Some of you may have a medical background, or you may know someone with cystic fibrosis, so you're familiar with what CF is. Others of you may not really know much about CF, so let me simply explain a little bit about CF. First of all, my husband and I are both carriers for cystic fibrosis. Nearly 40 million people in the United States are carriers of CF. Carriers present no symptoms, and both parents must be carriers to have a child with cystic fibrosis. Unfortunately, as this is a recessive genetic disease, we unknowingly pass this on to our children. CF is an inherited genetic disease that causes thick, sticky mucus to build up in the lungs and digestive tract. The collection of sticky mucus results in damaging the lungs and pancreas over time. It leads to a moist and fertile environment where the bugs such as Pseudomonas and molds grow and can cause damage to the lungs. 30,000 people in the United States, children and adults, are affected by this disease. This is a progressive disease. Over time, the lungs will deteriorate. Frequent hospitalizations for IV antibiotics, bronchoscopies, that means the scraping of the lungs to get the infections and the bugs, sinus surgeries, and for many CF patients, an eventual lung transplant may be necessary. So what does all this mean for my children? Most people wonder what the problem is. My children look so healthy. My children act so healthy. They run and play, scream and fight, laugh and dance just like everyone else. Therefore, there must be nothing wrong. Unfortunately, there is something seriously wrong, something fatally wrong. In order to take advantage of the available treatments for CF and in an effort to keep my children as healthy as possible, our days start out very early. Some of you understand what I mean because you have children who take 0 period classes or double 0 period classes. But your children have done this by choice. My children don't have a choice. It is something that they must do. Tonight my daughter is here to show you a portion of what daily treatments look like. So I'm going to ask my husband at this time to set my daughter up for a treatment for you. She's going to sit in a chair up front here. She's going to start a nebulized treatment. Many of you may have children with asthma, or you may have children who at some point have had to use a nebulized treatment. And others of you may be just like I was. When we found out that my children had cystic fibrosis, I had never had to give a nebulized treatment. I never had asthma. I didn't know what an inhaler was. I didn't know what the pieces were. We got all the pieces sent home with us in a bag, and the medication arrived on a Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We had no idea what we were doing. We frantically called friends, who called friends, who called friends. And someone knew someone with CF. And we were very, very blessed. One of our friends, I don't think she'll mind me sharing her name, Megan Paulson, whose daughter now attends, I think, Valencia.
Okay.
High school. Her daughter has cystic fibrosis. So Megan came over to our house and she goes, "Here, you just do this." And she put all the pieces together. And she did it like that. And I thought, well, I'll never get this down. I'll never understand what I'm doing. But eventually you do, and it just becomes a way of life. We put together all the mask pieces and we plug our children in. But every morning they do this. Every morning they do this, and every evening they do this. And our daughter here has the shortest treatments out of the 3. As they progressively get worse or their conditions change, medications increase. Medications never decrease, we are told frequently. I'm glad you got this step down. Now you have this to do. And so we're constantly being told that there will be more treatments. So as I get back to what a daily treatment is like, we get up at 5:20 in the morning on a Monday morning. Monday through Friday, the alarm goes off at 5:20 in the morning. We tiptoe into our children's room and we turn on the first medication. The first medication is, for many of us, albuterol. We don't use albuterol in our house anymore because our youngest is taking albuterol and it made her really hyper. And so we switched to Zovanex, which doesn't have as serious consequences, but currently coughing up green mucus with red in it, which means there's a little bit of blood. Our next appointment is Tuesday, and I can't wait to go to make sure that he's okay. The hardest part is living from one visit to the doctor to the next. You would think you wouldn't want to go to the doctor, but between the visits, I worry. Every single time my child coughs, I go, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, is that the next hospitalization? Is there something I need to be watching for? So he only did a portion of the treatment. Okay?
It wasn't that nice. Sorry.
Yes, thank you, actually, thank you. I had intended for her to actually do her treatment here tonight.
Uh-oh, here it comes.
She only does 20 minutes, and she does 30 minutes on the vest, because she hasn't been hospitalized yet. This is, again, a progressive disease, and not all patients progress at the same rate. I have to say, I am truly blessed, because my children have not had all the hospitalizations that other children at my children's age have had. Okay, I have had hospitalizations with my children, and I know that they will come. But I also know many, many parents who have had many more hospitalizations with their young children. But my boys do have an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes of treatments, because they do the nebulized 20, and then they do 30 minutes on the vest, and they have 2 medications at that time. And then they do TOBI, which is another inhaled medication, nebulized. It is an antibiotic. And they do 1 month on and 1 month off with this antibiotic. And the months off, I'm more nervous than I am the months on, as much as it makes us get up earlier. So this process is done twice a day in our home. And when Gavin has been sick, it has been up to 4 times a day. Basically, when they get sick, they spend most of their day connected to the machines. Unfortunately, the treatments don't stop there. Most patients also have GI issues, gastro issues. The pancreas is often affected by the mucus buildup and is therefore unable to process the food correctly. My sons both take enzymes before they eat anything. The purpose of the enzymes is to help break down the food that they are eating. Even with the enzymes, my children only process 70% of what they eat. Weight is a huge issue in our home. Our slogan is, eat everything and then eat a little more. We are constantly on our children's case to eat. And it's really hard with the young children. In a day where, when you go to the grocery store and everything is in 100-calorie packs, I'm searching for what's 350 calories. What else can I feed my children? So my children take these nutrients, and they also take specialized vitamins, garlic pills, extra vitamin D, probiotics, and prescription antibiotics on a regular basis. Both my sons are taking antibiotics Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they will for the rest of their lives. They also take Prevacid for the heartburn that's caused because their body can't process the food properly. These are the normal days for us. The normal days can turn into hectic days without a moment's notice. CF patients must see their pulmonologist at least every 3 months. And in September, I took Gavin in for a routine visit. The visit had gone well. He had gained weight. He was in good spirits. He had no signs or symptoms of infection. For all intents and purposes, he looked remarkably healthy. But the doctors had not viewed his latest x-rays. 2 minutes later, I was being told that a bed was being prepared for my son in the CF wing of the hospital. From the x-ray, they could tell that there was unusual inflammation, and he was in need of IV antibiotics. Within an hour, we were admitted, and all the plans at home were shattered. This is one of the most difficult aspects of CF. My children look healthy all the time, but in reality, cystic fibrosis is wreaking havoc on their system every minute. It is a cold and flu season. You can hear my daughter coughing, and I'm sure many of you have the same problems at home. But after we put the kids to bed at night, Rob and I can hear a cough from the bedroom, and we glance at each other without a spoken word, and yet we know we are both worrying, is it one of our CFers? What damage is going on? Is there fluid in the lungs? Can he cough it out? Gavin, our youngest, has had 3 sinus surgeries and 2 hospitalizations since his diagnosis 2 years ago. He was diagnosed December of 2008. Gavin is only 5½, and cystic fibrosis is a progressive disease. His lungs will not improve. The most recent hospitalization, they found mold growing in his lungs. I don't know what to say about that because I don't know whether it's progressed. We were on a Sporanox, a medicine that was supposed to kill the mold in his lungs. We had that for 3 months. It was a horrible medication. He hated the taste of it, and he had to give it at midnight because he had to take it on an empty stomach, 6 hours after eating, 6 hours before eating. Tell me when that is with a 5-year-old. Midnight. So we would wake him up every night at midnight, force him to get out of bed, stand him up in the bathroom, and tell him he had to take the medication. We did that for 3 months, and now we've been off of it for a month and a half, and I am petrified because what if that mold has started to grow again? What does that mean? How much scarring is going on? I'm not preventing it. I'm not doing anything. What am I supposed to be doing? How are you supposed to know if there's mold growing in the lungs? There were no signs last time. That means that there'll be no signs the next time. This leads me to why we need your help and why we need your help now. As a matter of time, that is, extending the time of my children and all those with CF. The average life expectancy for a child with CF currently is 37 years. In some articles, it is explained that nearly 40% of those with CF will live to their late 30s or 40s. But we don't talk about what happens to the other 60%. As parents, it is imperative to us that we do all that we can to ensure that our children are able to live to 37 and beyond. 37 is not long enough for me. I was 36 when I gave birth to Galvin. It's hard. I want my children to be able to experience life and enjoy successful careers and the laughter of their own children. I want my children to outlive me. As you might guess, this illness only affects 30,000 people in the United States, 70,000 worldwide. And so the pharmaceutical companies don't have a large enough population of patients that they can make a return on their investments. According to the federal government, cystic fibrosis is an orphan disease, and therefore it receives no federal funding for research. Sadly, and quite coldly, it comes down to a numbers game. Without kind-hearted people giving up their time and support to raise money for the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation, the life expectancy for those with CF would not be where it is today. When the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation was started, a child born with cystic fibrosis wasn't expected to live much past the age of 5. Today, nearly 40% of the people with CF live to be in their 30s. It didn't happen by accident. It happened because of the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation and because of the support of people like you who took their time to learn about cystic fibrosis and use their time and talents to make a difference. I'm sorry that I'm reading off of a paper at times, but I lose my focus and I start to cry on you, and I don't want to do that. I want to make sure that I address the issues that are really important for you to know. I want you to know that this year the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation's Great Strides Walk has been moved to our city. East Lake Village has graciously partnered with the foundation to provide the lake as our walk site. On Saturday, April 30th, between 10 to 12 teams, 800 to 1,000 people, will join together in an effort to raise awareness and desperately needed funds for research. The National Charity League has kindly offered their support of this event for the 2nd year in a row. Many of you helped out last year at the walk that took place at Tri-City. You efficiently set up and manned the registration tables. Sorry, I lost my place. You manned the raffle tables and set those up for us. You helped with the food and the drinks, etc. You helped with setup and you helped with cleanup. Cleanup nobody wants to do. Thank you very much for your time and your efforts. This year, we thank you in advance for your offer of support. We will need several helpers for setup as we are expecting a large crowd again this year. We will need helpers for the children's games provided courtesy of Eastlake, for the registration tables, for walk route guidance, for a first aid station, which we didn't have last year, for breakfast muffins or cookies. I know how good some of you are at baking, and I really appreciate it. Your kindness and support does not go unnoticed. My husband, my children, and I greatly appreciate all of your efforts, and we hope you will continue to team with us until one day, cystic fibrosis, CF, will stand for Cure Found. Before I leave you tonight, I have been debating on which video to show you. Some say that a picture is worth 1,000 words. The debate is, which video do I show you? Do I show you a video of my own children and their daily treatments? Do I show you the video of my friends' families and their experiences with living with CF? Do I show you a video of the research that has been done to help those with CF live a full and complete life? Or do I show you a video created by strangers who are also living life with CF, a life that may reflect the future for my children if a cure is not found? I'm not so sure that I've chosen the best video for you. I know that there are many, many, many videos available. If you go to our website, you can see any of them that you'd like to see. We have hundreds of them attached to our website. We want people to know what CF is. The sweatshirt that my husband is wearing tonight, the t-shirt that Kristen is wearing tonight, those are our team t-shirts. They say breathe life on them, because without breath, there is no life. And everything that we participate in, and my daughter's wearing the shirt too, right? Everything that we participate in is because we breathe, right? And I know that on our shirts, the kids got to help design the shirts. One of our neighbors, perhaps you know the Morgans, Dana Morgan and Brian Morgan. Brian Morgan designed our shirt for us. He took that on as a project, and he allowed for the kids to pick out some different elements of the shirt. And so you'll see on there, if you look at their shirts closely, you'll see the 3 M's for my 3 kids with CF. And you'll see some different things, a little man with the...
22 minutes. Sorry.
Sorry. Okay. A little man with a broom, right? Sweeping out the stuff in their lungs, which is what we really want to do, is to get rid of that stuff in their lungs. Are you ready to go?
It depends. I'm just waiting for instructions.
Okay, sorry. I was talking so that you wouldn't have to. So, I just want to let you know that I'm not sure I picked out the best video for you because there are so many, but I was encouraged to perhaps show you what life would be like in the future for my kids, because this is a young lady I've never met. Probably talked to her. There's something called Cystic Life, which is Facebook for those of us with cystic fibrosis. And I've talked to her probably several times on Facebook, on her page, but I've never actually met her in person.
Do you have sound? We're winging it. We don't know.
We don't know if we have sound or not, so.
Okay, that's good. And you think you could have shown, I guess it's small. And thank you to the person whose laptop this is. So. Were you put the speaker by it, or the thing by it, or whatever?
Yes.
So here's some of the medications that I do on a daily basis.
What do you want?
And I put my medication.
I wanted the one with the girl in the hospital.
This is the one with the girl.
No, it's not. Oh, is it?
Yes, it is.
That's not her.
This is actually this is
actually BJ's Pizza. The man who runs BJ's Pizza. This is his name.
Mr. Matinko. This is his
Matinko.
daughter.
This is his daughter. And that's why if you go to BJ's restaurant, you'll see that every time you buy a Pizookie, the money goes back to the Cystic Fibrosis Foundation. His daughter is in her 20s and has cystic fibrosis. Last May, one of her closest friends died from cystic fibrosis.
Sorry,
I didn't mean to start when you